Appalachian sunrise meets my skin. Even with my eyes still closed, I can feel it coming in. Golden, golden, I'll follow only golden, golden, golden things. Mountain laurel high fives for miles in spring. Rainbow trout and hummingbird wing. Golden, I'll follow only golden, golden, golden things. Gold hair, gold rings, gold leaves, gold everything, golden. I'll follow only golden, golden, golden things. Pay attention to sound, the one that's coming from your mouth. Don't mean to turn it upside down, I really wanna hear you out. I can't know how it is to be where you so calmly sit. When I further my own narrative, catching only part of it, to just be, to really see something other than just me, to lean in, look around, open up to the sound. If I could give you more than half an ear, if I could give you more than half an ear. I hit the brakes, throw stones into a quiet lake. What is it you're really saying? I turn the thoughts to little waves, space on either side of every single word I write. I found you in another line.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona. I reach through mysterious ceilings, my only hope. I look for the things I don't know.
Hello everyone, as you can see I'm back home, and I actually have another video coming up next week about the day that I stayed in Innsbruck, exploring Innsbruck, but I thought I would tell you a little bit more about the background of the bike trip and how it went. I've been wanting to do this route for a long time. There's lots of really cool cycling routes in Italy, but honestly, I've never been that much of a biking person, but since Hemingway sent me their step-through cruiser, I've been just going everywhere with it. And when they sent it to me, I actually asked if it would be possible to send me an extra battery, so that way I could cover more ground and possibly do multi-day trips. And so I thought, this is my chance to go and do like a longer trip. And I wanted to go before it would start getting really warm, but we had like a month of everyday rain. Like every day would storm and rain, and obviously you don't want to go and get soaked every day on a cycling trip. So then I saw that there was like a window of 3 to 4 days, and I was like, you gotta go. So that evening I decided that the next day I would go, and I didn't plan anything. Like the only thing that I knew was the rough route, because obviously between Italy and Austria there's the Dolomites, big mountains, and I'm not particularly fit in terms of like biking, so I was looking at the more accessible one for like a beginner, and I saw that the Brennero Pass would be the best option for me. So I just left, and I didn't book any hotels or anything, because again I didn't know how much ground I would be able to cover. I knew that each battery can do up to 100 kilometers I think, but then again that depends on how fast you're going and how steep are the hills, so I couldn't really predict very well, and also I just didn't know how tired I would get, so I didn't book anything. The first day I found a place that was really nice, but to get there I didn't realize there was a huge hill. There was like 3 kilometers of like really steep hills, and I would have made it just fine if I stayed on the road, but then Google Maps made me go through a shortcut into the vineyards, and it was so bad. Like it was crazy steep. Like even without the bike you would have struggled to walk up. So I ended up having to push the bike for like the last 100 meters. The first day ended up being the longest one in terms of kilometers. I think I did 125 kilometers because it was fairly flat. And then the second day it started to get a little bit more hilly. I think I did about 100 kilometers that day as well. And the first day I actually got a huge sunburn on my back. It was so horrible because I thought I got my sun cream because it took me forever to find it in the bathroom, and then I left it on top of my table, so I had to stop somewhere, get some more sun cream when I realized that I was getting burned, but it was too late, and I got like horrible tan, like weird tan on my back. I'm starting to peel. Anyway, the second day I ended up driving up to Bressanone. I was actually planning to get closer to the border, to Austria, but then there weren't any hotels in Vipiteno at the border, so I ended up stopping in Bressanone. I was planning to do the trip in 3 days and 2 nights to get to Innsbruck, but then I realized there were no hotels in Innsbruck for the day that I was arriving. There were hotels, but it was super expensive. I think the cheapest thing was €70 in a 6-bed mixed dormitory in a hostel. So I thought, okay, I'm not gonna get to Innsbruck, and instead I'm gonna stop closer to the border, past the Austrian border. And that was actually a really good idea, because the third day was like just a huge hill, because obviously I had to go to Brennero Pass, which was 1,300 meters in altitude. So it was all a big hill, and you know, the batteries wouldn't have lasted me up to Innsbruck. The last day I was actually a bit unlucky because it was a Sunday and there was a religious event, and they would do processions in lots of the little towns to get to Innsbruck. And so I ended up going towards the cycle path and finding a huge barrier with 2 people saying that I couldn't pass. And so I asked them like, which way can I go to get to Innsbruck? And they were like, oh, you have to go back 10 kilometers where you came from and then take the main road, and that's the only way you can get to Innsbruck. So I was like, are you kidding me? Anyway, so yes, I had to go all the way back. So I did like 20 kilometers for nothing, but that's just life, I guess. But the most awful thing is that the rest of the ride was on the main road, and it was super trafficked because all the other roads were closed, so that was kind of the main road that people were taking, and it was super busy, and they were doing works on the on the roads. There were lots of stops, and there was no way for me to get back to the cycle path because there was a railway in the middle, and there was no way of like no path to go back to the cycling path. So anyway, I made it to Innsbruck, and it was actually so satisfying to be able to get there by just my 2 legs, and of course with the help of the electric bike. And yeah, it was just really cool. It's something that I never experienced. I did do a long distance travel by feet, but never with the bike, and I think I understand now why people love it so much. It's just when you wake up and you're like tired from the day before, you're like, oh my god, we have like another 100 kilometers to go, but then you get in on the bike and you feel so free, you feel elated, you feel so happy to be alive, that it kind of makes it up for like the pain in your legs. And I assure you that although the electric bike does help a lot, my legs were still like jam-like for the whole trip. I will say this bike is not necessarily made for like long distance travels, like mainly on road, because I thought there would be more off-road, but actually it was mainly on like tarmac road. But this is the bike I have, and I just wanted to see how it would perform, and it did very well. Honestly, I was really impressed. Only once it was totally my mistake, I smashed like full speed onto a barrier because I didn't predict that it would go that way. I smashed on it and the chain came off, but I was able to put it back on, no problem. I didn't have any flat tires, didn't have any electrical issues, so I was really pleased with it. I would love maybe one day to try it with a normal bike, non-electric bike, or with an electric bike that's like more for on-road with like smaller tires, and see how that goes. I think I'm hooked now in terms of bicycle travel. I get it now, and the only thing that I will say is that it ended up being fairly expensive because again I didn't book things in advance, and I think if you booked something in advance then you will end up spending less money. But again, if you have something booked, then you have to get to that place and you can't stop before if you're tired or if you have issues with your bike or whatever. So I kind of like the idea of being more flexible with that. But yes, it ended up being quite expensive, and I thought maybe next time camping would be an option, but there's not as many campings as hotels, and you would have to take your gear with you. And also at the end of the day you're just so tired that the last thing you want to do is to put up your tent. So yeah, that's something to consider. I hope you enjoyed this video. ZUCCA is getting a little bit restless. I think he wants to go for a little walk. Let me know if you've done any multi-day bike trips and if you have any suggestions on where I should take my next trip. And also let me know about bike trailers for dogs, especially because I've been looking for some, because I would love to take, whether it's ZUCCA or another foster dog or just dogs in general with me, but I just don't know which one. I just don't know nothing about trailers basically, so let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions. As usual, I will leave the link to the Himiway bike on the description bar, and I'm not getting paid for this video in particular or for the previous one, but if you do end up purchasing a bike from them, then I do get like a small percentage. So the link that's there, it's an affiliate link. But yeah, shall we go for walkies? I think it's time. I think it's time. We could even try and go in the lake and see if you like to swim, because we haven't tried yet. Okay, bye!